When making financial investments, one of the key decision-making criteria for somebody like a chief financial officer is around financial risk and how well protected or future-proofed is their investment. In this video, we're going to look at how a business can reduce the risk associated with IT investments and create more compelling reasons for an organisation to invest in cloud services when compared to the procurement of traditional IT hardware. Hello and welcome to this video where we're going to continue the theme of looking at some of the financial benefits that cloud services provide a business. By the end of this video, you will be able to identify numerous ways in which better investment protection is realized through cloud services when compared to traditional IT procurement. And you'll be able to explain ways in which better investment protection can also be realized when comparing one cloud service provider with another. So let's start by identifying key things a financial controller will consider when making an IT investment. Firstly, they're concerned about obsolescence, especially in our industry when products evolve at a very rapid pace. They will ask themselves if what they are investing in will be going out of date in the near future, and will they therefore have to be spending more money to update to the latest and greatest version of what they've just bought. Secondly, if they are investing in the expansion of a previous investment, perhaps to add additional capacity to the infrastructure as an example, then they need to consider if they are throwing good money after bad. And this means, are they investing in expanding a technology which might be on its way out and might soon be obsolete, or should they be looking at something newer? Now, the challenge with this for someone in a financial investment situation is that if they decide to invest in the newer technology, then they might not actually realize the projected return on investment that they expected from their original acquisition. So it's a real dilemma. Now, in addition to that, although perhaps moving to the newer technology might seem the most appropriate thing to do, and perhaps would maximize the protection of their investment for the future, and perhaps would allow them to take advantage of newer capabilities of the latest product and the benefits that might bring their business, there is a downside in the cost of change, and that has to be considered. Because there could be a penalty for early termination of an existing contract, as an example. There could be the cost of additional training on the new equipment, all of which would impact their investment decision. So although migrating to a new product or service might seem compelling and provide some measurable business value, as salespeople, I think we often forget to consider those additional costs that a business might incur from change. So when we are looking at selling cloud services and we can demonstrate the value that this new cloud service might bring, the purpose of this video is to make sure that you are aware that there are other considerations that a business will take into account with regards to any investment decisions that they make. Considerations that might put their investment at risk. Now, the good news is that there are a number of key areas where a customer can realize improved investment protection with cloud services. And it's these I'd like to walk you through now. So one of the key benefits with cloud is that the customer does not own any assets. This has a couple of real advantages for your customer. Firstly, the worry about obsolescence is now mitigated. The responsibility of the core infrastructure sits with the service provider, and therefore means that they will update and upgrade the technology as it evolves. It also means that any additional capacity that might be required can be realized without worrying about the age of the technology. Now, another benefit of this is that the customer is not locked in to any particular vendor. And there are actually a couple of benefits of this. Firstly, although extreme, there is the risk that a particular vendor might go out of business, which means that the customer would be unable to get any more of the product they have previously invested in, and maybe wouldn't even be able to get support on what they already have. Now, if they therefore have to look at a different vendor, then another challenge that they may experience could be interoperability or incompatibility issues, which would actually put both the original and the new investment now at risk. But with cloud services, customers get better investment protection because, again, they don't have to worry about this obsolescence. That's the service provider's headache. A cloud service can also improve investment protection if we look at the world of security. There are new and evolving threats affecting businesses every day. If a customer does not have the most current and up-to-date capability for protection, they may have to continually invest in new technology just to stay ahead of the game, even if they haven't realized the full potential and financial returns of a previous investment. Now, obviously, they could hold off spending more on the most current technology until they have realized the full value of their previous spend. But this then puts the business at risk. Again, if we compare it to a cloud service, this investment risk disappears as the customer gets access to the latest security capabilities as part of the service. And again, this headache also becomes the responsibility of the service provider. Now, another example of investment risk is when investments are made in hardware assets for which there's no immediate need. Now, an example of this might be where redundant IT is acquired to provide business continuity capabilities or disaster recovery. Alternatively, there could be a situation perhaps where a business is growing and it needs to make an IT investment today to provide connectivity for a smaller number of users, but with the capacity to meet future needs. Now, in this instance, a percentage of that investment is not going to be utilised and perhaps might never be utilised before a refresh or an upgrade is needed. Again, if we compare this to simply subscribing to a cloud service, then they can easily get access to the exact amount of capacity that's needed at any given time, rather than risking investment by over-provisioning as I've just described. Now, so far I've talked about how a customer can realise better investment protection from a cloud service when compared to a more traditional IT investment. But better investment protection can also be realised when comparing just one cloud service provider against another. For example, if a service provider has poor performance levels, then it would be much easier for a customer to move to a new service provider because they're not locked into any particular product or vendor. If a cloud service provider had uncompetitive pricing, again, a customer could change provider to get better value for money elsewhere. And this could mean the same service at a lower price, or it could mean a better service with improved capabilities for the same price. Now, the last point I want to make on this subject before we wrap up this video is that I'm not suggesting that you have to go just cloud to get better investment protection. As I said, spend in IT hardware may already have been made, for which a business wants to get maximum returns on that investment. If that's the case, a business can realise lower investment risk by migrating to the cloud through hybrid solutions. Now, this means that the investment in existing infrastructure can be leveraged to its maximum, but when additional capacity or new features and functionality or better security capabilities or disaster recovery capacity is needed, well, these could all be taken from a cloud service provider, providing a mix of cloud and on-premise environments. So in bringing this video to a close, I trust you now appreciate some of the considerations a business makes when looking to protect financial investments, and you can see how cloud services have the capability to reduce investment risk for them. By using this information with those individuals responsible for making IT investment decisions, it will help you provide more compelling business justification, which in turn will help you sell more cloud services. So I wish you luck in doing so, and I look forward to seeing you again in another video in this training series. I'm Brian Conway. Goodbye.